Leo's spring, the balance and the blossom. A heartwarming continuation bedtime story. The great thaw came to Hearthstone Hollow, not with a shout, but with 1,000 whispers. Drip drip from icicles. The crinkle of receding frost. And the sound that most gladdened Leo's heart, the return of the brook, singing its watery song under a thin lace of ice. Spring had arrived, and with it, a new season for Leo. Not of frantic starting, nor of weary harvesting, nor of silent watching, but of balance. His winter companion, Elara the herbalist, had not left with the snow. She'd settled into the small, sunlit loft above Mr. Evans' old tool shed, her presence becoming as natural as the lengthening days. Their friendship was easy, built on shared silence and shared wonder. She taught him the language of weeds, which were medicine, which nurtured the soil, which companions to plant beside his tomatoes to keep pests away. He showed her the secret rhythm of the land, where the sun lingered first, where the frost had longest. The sustainable heart. Leo's work now was one of deeper integration. Inspired by Elara and his own journey, he began weaving true sustainability into the farm's very fabric. He dug swales along the gentle slopes, catching the spring rains, guiding them to quench the earth slowly, deeply, wasting nothing. He built a simple compost system near the old harvest pyre site, turning waste into black gold, completing the cycle of decay and rebirth. He and Elara planted a medicinal hedge, rosemary, lavender, echinacea, around the vegetable patch, a fragrant fortress. For bees and a pharmacy for their kitchen. For the first time, Leo looked at the hollow not as a challenge to conquer, but as a living system to join. He felt a profound security growing within him, not from money in a bank, but from knowledge in his hands and resilience in his soil. Mercy for the small. One bright morning, as they planted peas, Leo noticed a flurry of anxious chirping. A pair of robins were trying to build a nest in the old apple tree, but the wind kept scattering their twigs. Without a word, he set down his hoe. He gathered soft moss, sheep's wool from a nearby fence, and short, flexible vines. He fashioned a rough, sturdy basket and secured it in the crook of the tree, a secure foundation for their home. Elara watched, a soft smile on her face. You're not just farming the land, Leo. You're stewarding all its citizens. It became a quiet mission. He left patches of nettles untouched for butterfly larvae. He built a small, shallow bird bath from a sunken clay pot, keeping it filled with fresh water. He scattered wildflower seeds in an unused corner, a dedicated buffet for pollinators. These acts were not chores. They were acts of love, a conscious extension of the mercy and peace he himself felt. In caring for the smallest lives, he affirmed the value of all life, including his own. The wellspring of peace. Leo's days found a new rhythm. Mornings were for purposeful work with Elara, mending, planting, planning. Afternoons were for observation, walking the land with a notebook, a cup of tea, and a contented heart. Evenings were for sharing, a simple meal from the stored harvest and the first tender greens, stories exchanged by the light of the guardian lantern, now placed on the porch point. One evening, after a day of building bean trellises, they sat by the newly awakened secret spring. The tiny snowdrop had been joined by a host of crocuses. The chestnut sapling, a miracle in itself, showed two brave, glossy new leaves. "It's different now," Leo said quietly, gazing at the peaceful hollow bathed in golden hour light. "Before, I was listening to the land to know what to do. Now, I listen just to listen. The peace isn't something I find at the end of the work. It's woven into the work itself." Elara nodded, sipping her mint tea. "You've learned the deepest magic, Leo. You've stopped fighting the cycle and started dancing with it. You've made your well-being part of the land's well-being." The blossom of sharing the true test of his balance came not from a storm, but from a visitor. A young woman from the village, looking overwhelmed and sad, knocked on his gate. She'd heard of the man who talked to bees and grew peace. Tentatively, she asked if she could just sit in the garden for a while. Leo didn't give a tour or a lecture. He simply nodded, led her to a quiet bench under the grandmother tree, and brought her a cup of chamomile tea from their hedge. He went back to weeding nearby, offering only a presence as steady and non-judgmental as the ancient tree itself. After an hour, she left with tears in her eyes, but a lighter step. She carried a small pot of lemon balm from Elara and a single, perfect daffodil. Watching her go, Leo felt a surge of understanding. The final part of the cycle was sharing. Not just pumpkins or apples, but the feeling of Hearthstone Hollow, the security, the mercy, the peace. His farm was no longer just a plot of land. It was a living, breathing sanctuary, and he was its gentle keeper. That night, his journal entry was short and sure: spring. The balance is found. The chestnut lives. The birds have a home. Elara's laughter is part of the brook's song. I do not just farm. I belong. And in belonging, I have enough to give away. The hollow isn't just put to bed or woken up. It is loved, steadily, every single day. And that love is the most sustainable crop of all. The heart for the listener, true security blooms when we stop taking from the world and start partnering with it. When we extend mercy to the smallest sparrow, we water the roots of peace in our own soul. Your well-being and the well-being of all that surrounds you are one beautiful, interconnected whole. Tend to your inner garden with the same love you offer the world.